Single-use plastics have become a major issue in our ocean's health in the past decade. Living in Florida, we can firsthand see the pollution from single-use plastics on our beaches and waterways, as well as the effect it has on wildlife and the harm it can bring. It is estimated that 8 million metric tons of plastic is being dumped into our ocean each year, and that this is going to continue to rise as the years go on if companies aren't held responsible for the debris that they're creating. We can see that this has a big impact on our ocean by looking at the numbers of marine mammals that we've had wash up as a result of all this plastic being dumped into the ocean. It was shown in one study that plastics have killed over 100,000 marine mammals from being caught in nets, being ingested. The plastic is clogging up their stomachs. They're being constricted by frisbees and bottle tabs. All kinds of plastics are affecting them in many different ways. This number doesn't include all sea life. This just is the mammals. The number is obviously much greater if you start including fish and turtles and corals that are also affected by the plastic being put into the ocean and all those chemicals being leached into the water. It's shown that the plastics are killing corals. Cornell University showed that when corals are exposed to these plastics, that their risk of getting diseases increases from an astonishing 4% to 89% as soon as they come in contact. We have mass amounts of plastic that are floating out in the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans that is going, and they're getting caught on the corals. It's breaking them apart. It's causing abrasions on the corals, and that's allowing bacteria to get in through those films that the coral creates around itself to protect it. And when the plastic hits it, it takes that film away, and the corals are then susceptible to infections and bacteria that they normally wouldn't be having to deal with. We can also see the effect that microplastic is having on our health as well. Through us eating fish that have then ingested those microplastics, through us consuming that, then we are having those toxins leaked into our bodies as well. National Geographic did a study showing that over 114 aquatic species were found with microplastics in their systems. And of those species, more than 50% are fish or seafood that is commonly consumed by humans on a regular basis. And after the National Health Department released a statement saying that humans should double their intake on seafood, we can only expect to see more problems arise with people eating this fish that has been contaminated by these microplastics and those chemicals getting into their systems. We need to start holding big companies accountable for the amount of debris that they're dumping into our oceans. And until that happens, the plastic is going to keep rising, and the amount of damage that we're causing to the marine life and the corals, and we're just going to see a continued decline in our overall ocean's health. We need to do simple stuff to help out by recycling, taking care of what we're purchasing, trying to use containers that can be reused rather than just buying water bottles and throwing them away. You can use reusable water bottles, and then you're cutting back on the amount of plastic waste that you're consuming. So the big picture is that we need to recognize that there's an issue with not only our ocean but our own health, and we need to take steps to make sure that this is a problem that's going to be handled and taken care of. And the first thing for that is for us to recognize that there's an issue. So try to be mindful of what you're using in your daily life, and call on companies to be mindful of what they're producing, and ask them how they are going to go through and clean up the oceans and take responsibility for a mess that they've created.